Buonasera.
Good evening.
Ne bucaram sa fima ich cuvoi.
We are so pleased to be here with you,
Și Dumnezeu să vă binecuvânteze.
and may God bless you. How are you all doing? All right?
How are you all?
You know, I can't remember the last time I was able to talk proper English in a church.
I can't remember the last time I was able to speak proper English in a church. As you can tell, we're not actually Romanian. We're from Scotland. But we've been out in Romania for there's people, 15, nearly 15 years. How do we just give you a nod? Poiana. You tell me a bit about Poiana.
Poiana is a very rural village. It's very agricultural, and there's approximately 2,000 people live in the village. There is only one way into Poiana, one road. You don't go through Poiana to get to anywhere else. So therefore, it can become very, very isolated.
As you can see, that's Romania, and we are about there. Okay, so we're in the southeast of Romania. It's only an hour away from Bulgarian border, and we live in a small village, as Alex said, quite near the holiday resort in Romania. We don't often get, but we're close enough to it. Come here now. Right, okay.
Now, I know you've had some really bad weather. This is winter for us. The sign you see in the bottom, where you see the Poiana, that's the same height as your stop signs. So that gives you an idea of the weather conditions. And this is the Black Sea, and it's just really bad winds. As I said, there's one road in and one road out. So when it snows like this, we get snowed in. We have no option but to stay in the house. Sometimes we had to dig out to get to the front gates to then pay bills within the village. The average temperature of the winter in Poiana is minus 25 degrees. Yeah, it's just so you can get that into some sort of perspective. I said I was speaking proper English as well. just give you some perspective. Your freezers at home work in an average of minus 18 degrees. So it's colder than your freezers are. And the worst temperature we've had in the winter was minus 37. And the Black Sea actually froze over.
I see we have some children in with us. Can you tell us, Marcus, you're not allowed to answer this question. Can you tell us what that is? Do you know what it is? A shed? Yes. But there's something inside the shed, which isn't very nice. Toilet. It's a toilet. Now, I'm showing you that because you would think, well, in this day and age, these things don't still exist, especially when it's a country part of European Union. But this is actually our daughter-in-law's mother's toilet. We didn't actually want to go to somebody and say, can I take a picture of your toilet, please? But seriously, though, it's just a hole in the ground inside, and there's 3 families use this toilet. Not 3 people, 3 families use this toilet. So this is still quite common in Poiana. A lot of houses still don't have electricity. Many houses still don't have running water in the houses, in their homes. So it's still, maybe they might even have a tap outside so they can use that. Other than that, they have to take bottles, 5-litre bottles of water, and ask people to fill them up for them so that they can have water. Okay? These are just children in Romania are they have to grow up very quickly, in the village particularly. They may come from family situations where there's abuse, domestic violence, there's a lot of alcohol issues in the families, and maybe some of the parents have to go out to work and they'll leave a child as young as 5-year-old looking after a baby. Now, it's illegal, but what can they do about it? They don't do anything about it. There's nothing they can do unless the police come and they're caught doing it. So many of the children are quite grown up and they've got worries, and they shouldn't have at children's age. So when they come to the clubs, We want them to have fun, and we want them to enjoy themselves. Yes, we play games, and we enjoy the games as well, don't we, everybody that came? We enjoy the games. We have songs just like everybody else does. We have Bible stories, memory verses, and craft and everything. But the children, when they are with us for those 2 hours that particular day, they are happy and they can be themselves. And that is when you maybe get a child opening up to you and telling you what life is like. You see the bruises, you see the things that go on, and it's heartbreaking, but at least we can pray and we can help if we can. Yes, shoeboxes. Shoeboxes, you all know what they are, don't you? We just thought it would be nice to show you, the ones that maybe you have done in your schools and church or whatever won't have come to us because we don't get ours through Samaritan's Purse any longer. We get them through a church in Derbyshire. A man had a vision just to send them directly to us rather than to go through another person. So we always find it fantastic to be able to show pictures of that children actually receiving their boxes. And this year we'd asked a couple of the parents to send us a video of the child opening, because we don't get to see it either. We just give them and say, open it when you go home, because that may be the only Christmas present a family will get. A family will get, not a child, a family, because they'll go in and go, oh, that'll fit me, I'll have that, or the sweeties get shared around. So it's a big thing for a child to receive, or a family to receive that. Do you recognise the man in the red suit in the middle? This is what we do. One of the things we do over the Christmas period is actually go around the village carol singing. It's quite a big thing in Romania. The children will go around, but they sing the same song the whole way round, the whole time, and they want money. So what we do is we go around with the shoe boxes in the sack in the back, and we also take wee packets of chocolates and give to the people, and we refuse to take anything. We're here to bless other people, and they love it, and they're a bit kind of whoa. This, you will get talking 1 minute.
It's not unusual.
Because the families are so poor, we try to involve food within our kids clubs as well. The team knows that when they come. We try to do some sort of craft, whether it's something fun, whether it's actually giving them a meal. And the one on the far left was, we had a cinema eat day, and we had chicken nuggets and chips. It wasn't quite McDonald's, but it was the nearest thing that we had to McDonald's, and they all loved it. And the middle one, as you see, is hot dogs. We had a little girl that came, and she was only little at the time. One of the times we gave out hot dogs, and she took this hot dog. And then she came straight back into the kitchen. She said, Heather, can I have another one? I said, yes, of course you can. I said, are you all right? I haven't eaten since yesterday. And this was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's so important for us to be able to do these things. And yeah.
Watch. We also have a teenage club that we're on as well, and we've been given some funds from a gift that someone gave us, and we were able to buy a new pool table. And we've also got some gym equipment, and we've got table tennis and that as well. And what we tend to do with it is I ask the children what they want to set, or the teenagers what they want to set up for a Friday night, rather than me set something up and they came and say, oh, I wanted to do that instead. So a lot of the time the club gets set up by the teenagers for what they want to do in that evening. Now, believe it or not, I actually was quite fit at one time. So why is that amusing? So as I say, the gym equipment, I used to do boxing and rugby. And I get do boxing training and that with the teenagers as well. And believe it or not, the girls are the most aggressive people I have ever met. Okay.
That's just another picture of the youth. Our aim is always to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. But if somebody is starving or somebody has a real need, what do we say? Oh, I'll pray for you and walk away. No, we can't do that. We base our whole ministry, we actually call the ministry Matthew 25, where it says that, Jesus separated the sheep and the goats. And he said to them, when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. When I was naked, you clothed me. And when I was in prison, you came to visit me. And they said to him, well, when did we ever do that for you? And Jesus said, whenever you do that for the least of my people, you do it for me. And that's what we base our whole ministry on. So when we say we pastor a church or a church plant, we don't. We pastor a community. That's what we look at. People say to us, well, how many people go to your church? Does it matter? It's for the kingdom. It's the people within the village. And this lady came to the Lord last year. And the guy on the left is our youngest son, Andrew. And this is him baptizing his mother-in-law this last, I think it was September or October. And this lady has changed so much. She always was a lovely lady, and she used to cook for the church, do the traditional Romanian Christmas meal. She did it for years and would come now and again. And then she just one day decided, I'm coming to church and I want to get baptized. That was after a few months. So she is amazing. Church life. Well, we do a lot of things in church. We have our church service, we do prayer meetings, we do Bible studies, all the things that you would expect to see in a normal church. But we do, ladies' meetings over the years have been really, really good. But we started at Christmas time with something different. We decided to have a craft evening. And we had, what did we have? We had chocolates and all the Christmassy stuff that you would have. And we had 22 ladies. Now, you've seen the size of that room. We had 22 ladies in the room, and it was absolutely amazing. There was more non-church, non-Christians than there was Christians in the church, and it was fantastic. It was like, I couldn't sleep. I was like, whoa! And we thought, well, we'll try it again. And we did it for 8th of March, because the 1st of March is Marcy Shore in Romania, where ladies are celebrated when it changes from winter to spring, the cold to the heat, hopefully. And then 8th of March, International Ladies' Day, but it's also Mother's Day in Romania. So we decided to do something special, and we had all of these ladies here, and only 5 of them were Christians. It was amazing. They absolutely loved it. And we planned when we go back after Easter, once things die down a wee bit with the coronavirus. We don't want to particularly start something like new, but hopefully by the time we go back after Easter, it should be okay. We're going to start a keep fit group or something like that. Nothing like rigid, but use some videos, and they were all like, yes, we will come, just to befriend these ladies. We know most of them anyway, but just to befriend them and show them the love of Jesus in their lives. Camp. We went to camp.
You used to it.
We went to camp last year, and we took the children to Danube Delta, which is about 2 hours away from where Poiana is, and it's just to take the children out of their environment where it's hard and it's tough, and to go and do things that they'd never done before. I'd never done anything like that before. I don't like boats, don't go on boats. But this was amazing. You were literally on a boat going through all these bulrushes, and the route changed all the time, but it was fantastic. The kids had a great time. In fact, that girl there on the right with her hand up in the air is our daughter-in-law, Elena, who is the most competitive person I have ever met. And this is her shouting at her team, come on, you can win. And that, every single one of those children gave their hearts to the Lord at the end of the camp. Every single one. Oh, where am I going again? You're all right. The one.
This one's okay.
The one before, you're okay. One, not that one. The next one. That one. That's it. These are just some of the people we work with. You want to say some stuff? Okay. Gabby, the little girl on the left, she was actually born at home in one of those really bad winter storms. The ambulance couldn't get up to get her, get the mum. So she was actually born at home, and it was her big brother who delivered her. And he wasn't that old. I think he was about 12 at the time or something like that. But her whole family situation is really, really difficult. Her dad has definitely got special need problems. He's a drinker, which doesn't work really too well. Mum was always getting beaten up. But Gabby is a beautiful little girl. She's 8. She keeps telling me she's 8 now. And her 2 older brothers have all come through the clubs as well. Unfortunately, the big one was in prison for a little while. But they steal because they've got no money. And it's just think it's an easy way to get it. The 2 little boys in the middle, we were making, I can't remember what we were making that day, pancakes or something? Chocolate pancake, I can't remember. Sweet pancakes. We do food so often it just... But little Paulika here, he was born with a hair lip and a very bad cleft palate. And he was supposed to have an operation by the time he was 6 months, but his mum never ever took him. So it's resulted in him growing up, being very small and not being able to speak properly and clearly. He's a lovely wee boy. He's really, really bright, but you've really got to listen to him when he's speaking. And I've got his name. The wee boy at the back. You can't remember him.
I can't see it.
The one in the middle, the one with the eye.
Philip.
That's it. I couldn't remember his name, and he comes every week, and he is a lovely boy. He has an eye which is like right behind, you can't really see it, and he needs an operation to pull it forward. I don't know if he'll ever see out of it, but I think what I'm trying to tell you is that here is a possibility of getting treatment. Okay, you may have to wait and, all sorts of things, but there, if you don't have any money, you can't get treated even as a child. It's really, really sad. I don't really want to tell you about this one because we've got children in the meeting. So if we could, that's okay. We've done.
Skip.
Yeah, done. It's skipped.
This is one of the big things that we've been involved in, as the team that have been over will know. The house at the top is the same house at the bottom after 1 week's work. Okay, it's basically a 5-day operation. This house, this is a couple that lived in the house. The lady's blind, and the man has since, unfortunately, the man has died since. But they lived next to the local dump, and what they were doing was their house is built out of all different types of materials. So when we're working with it and trying to drill through, we don't know if we're going to hit cement, mud bricks. We don't know what we're going to hit, so we don't always guarantee that it's going to hold on a certain the surface we're working on. But all it is we put polystyrene on the walls, as you've seen in the video. We then secure the polystyrene, put a mesh over it, skim it twice, and then paint it. And before we do any of that, any repair work needing done to level up the house so it'll look better, we have to carry that out first. And that includes simple things like making windowsills, because there's no windowsills, everything's just falling away from the window. So you've got to create a windowsill before you can do any more work on it. And if you ask the team that have been as well, don't just take our word for it. As you've seen in the video, we enjoy having fun. It makes your days go an awful lot quicker. You don't feel as if you're working that hard. But again, if you ask the teams, they will tell you, you do work hard. We're Scottish, and the only reason we give you 1 day off is because it says so in Scripture. If it was up to me, I'd have Tipp-X that part out. Okay? This is another big part of what we do. We have to give out food parcels. The same in the UK, you have food banks where people can go to. There's no such thing, especially in village culture. So what we do, when we have the funds, we buy in bulk, and then we fill the bags up. That's one of the bags there with all sorts of different everyday things in it. And we also try to put in some fresh fruit, some chocolate, some juice, something that they wouldn't normally buy for themselves, just to encourage them, as we've heard tonight, about encouraging people. Okay? We also, another part of what we do is give out clothing. We were getting pallets from North Wales, the church that sent us out from North Wales. But unfortunately, due to Brexit, we don't think that's going to be able to continue. So this is another side of the things, that there's always needs in the village. Okay. This is a huge thing. In the winter, everybody that we work with has a wood burner. Now, a ton of wood costs £70. Tanti Lena, the older lady, her government pension, or her government aid, is £28 a month. Our wood costs her £70 a month for the winter, and she gets £28 a month. Now, I'm a maths teacher, and these figures don't just tally up. But she also, her medication costs £40 a month. So in the winter, it's £110 expenditure and £28 income. So, and we help as much as possible to do these things as well, plus gas bottles, trips to the doctors, trips to the hospital. All of that falls within the church remit. I strongly believe that the church should be a community that looks out. The church should never be a community that looks inward in itself. It then becomes a club, and that is a real danger of an awful lot of churches. This again, I'm aware you've had high wind and there's been a lot of damage. This was in the village, and this was only last week before we left. And you can see in the picture there, his whole roof had blown off. He had no roof left at all. So he messaged Heather and said, or his son messaged Heather and said, "My dad needs to talk to you, he's got a problem." So we said, okay. So we went up and spoke to the man. And we were able, this is the materials that we were able to buy. We bought enough materials to re-roof his house. He's not a church member. You don't need to be a church member to be blessed by God. That doesn't say that. Doesn't say that. Okay? So we believe in blessing the community. And that way the community can start to bless itself as well from the overflow.
And it was your money that did this?
It was the money you sent did this, the roof, had to replace the roof. This is, well, you want to do this? You move me.
My mouth. I'm sweating. I'm not used to central heating anymore. And that's not a joke. We're sweating with the central heating. Teams. We have teams, as you know. You've sent teams over well, 3 times really, because you came over the first time. And we have, well, however many. We used to have about 10 a year, and then we've got some booked in this year. Whether it'll still go ahead, I don't know, with the coronavirus. But you're never too old. You're never too young. I think our oldest person we actually had on a team was 78. And she didn't tell us she was 78, and she was up a ladder painting the play area. And it wasn't until later, because the team leader she said, "There's an older lady coming." I said, "Well, how old?" She said, "Oh, about 60. But she was great. She was absolutely brilliant. And we just believe that when a team comes, you use the skills and the talents that God has given you. You may not be good at practical things. For instance, like a house insulation. Anybody can do it, can't they? It's easy. Okay, it's hard work, but it's easy. It can be done. But then I'm sure they told you, but straight after kids doing house insulation, they would then go and do children's clubs. And then there would be a ladies' meeting afterwards, and we would try and eat in between all of these things. And this is one of the teams that came, just having fun with the children at the back, because they absolutely love to see people coming from abroad. They particularly love people who have come previously and come again and again, because they have made relationship with the people, and for them it means so much to them. And we as a church, we actually pray for you as well. So we know that you pray for us, but we also pray for you.
Can I just say about teams after the words that were being given tonight as well? Don't ever let yourself be discouraged and say you can't. Please, don't look at your skill set and say, well, God can't use me in this. He can. And you can be taught skill sets. The people that came from here had never done a house insulation in their lives. They didn't have a clue about it, but they'd done it in a week. And the house insulation that they've done, and every other house we've done 24 in the village. It costs the people that live in those houses nothing. It's free. There's no charge to it at all. The saving for these people immediately is 40% of their heating bill, the wood. They're buying probably 2/3 of the wood they used to have to buy to heat the house. So they're saving 40% immediately. Not 3 years down the line when it accumulates. Next winter, 40% cheaper. So again, don't discourage yourself. Don't put obstacles in your own way if God's not putting them there. Okay? Just push through these things. A lot of the people that came didn't have a clue what they were actually going to be doing properly until they arrived there. But if you ask them again, and I know I'm putting the onus on them for quite a bit of this, but if you ask them, they came to bless us. They probably left more blessed.
That was the picture of the children just saying, thank you to you all for the support. We can't thank you enough. Seemed to go very quick. Did anybody have any burning questions? I mean, we'll try and answer.
Do you want a drink?
No, I'm fine. No? You cannot, yes?
I can tell you because you're a Christian.
In 1996, I used to, in Wales, we used to go, I was part of the worship team, and we used to go into prisons round about in England and all these places with the worship team and the Christian Motorbike Association. And we went, one day I got a phone call and said, do you want to do a next gig? I went, yeah, well, where is it? Because I used to love doing that. In Romania. I went, what? And actually that morning, God had spoken to me through my daily reading saying, go and be ambassadors of Christ. I was like, whoa. And we ended up going to Romania, not anywhere near there. But the minute I stepped on the runway off the plane, I thought, I'm going to be back, and my family are going to be back. And that was in 1996. Only 7 years. Hello. Only 7 years after communism fell. And we went into prisons, we went into churches, and in Romania, some churches you've got to be very careful. You're not allowed to move your feet, you're not allowed to lift your hands, it's all that sort of stuff. But it was fantastic. And then in 99, I went to paint an orphanage for children with HIV in Constanza. And on that week, God spoke to Alec at home the same day and me on the same day, and God said, you will live there one day as a family. And it wasn't until 2005 that we actually got to move there, but for 2 years previously, because we've got 3 children, well, they're not weeny anymore, they're big. But in those days, we had to make sure it was right, because Andrew was only 8 when we left. And that's a quick overview. We were very patient. We pushed so many doors and they went banged in our face because we weren't sure exactly where we were going to be. We weren't sure exactly what we were going to be doing. And we'd never heard of Poiana before we moved. We went to work with street children, and then God led us to Poiana. And within 2 weeks we were running a church, and we just couldn't believe it. It didn't speak Romanian. It was unbelievable. And the rest is history. God has spoken to us the whole way, even our children. He even spoke through our children, which was amazing. Anything else? No. Do you want to take that for the prayer thing? Want to do the prayer?
Just as we finish, these are just a few of the major prayer points that I ask you to focus on for us, please. God's provision for the Chalmers family and the work in Poiana, especially as it's growing. The more we reach out into the community, the more it costs, the more things we have to do, the more things we have to buy. And we are supported totally by giving donations. We don't pull a salary or anything. Everything's given by donations. So as one pot, the needs of the community increase, our money decreases that we have to spend on personal items like bills and heating and that as well. So again, it's for God's provision. For wisdom and guidance in every area. There's quite a few things we've not been able to say tonight, again, because there's children in. But there's a lot of very dangerous circumstances, a lot of very violent people there as well because of the alcohol abuse. I've been threatened with a pitchfork before now because I wouldn't insulate the man's house, so he came to see me with a pitchfork. And so, but it's fortunate. I didn't want to chance it. For hearts open to the gospel, especially with prayer walk around the village, The village is 3 kilometres long and only about 4 streets wide either side of the main thing. And we prayer walk every street, maybe once every month or twice a month, depending on the weather. And we just change streets every time we prayer walk. So the whole village gets covered in prayer. And the only thing we pray for is blessings on every household, every business, everything that's in that village, the school, the community centre. All we do is pray blessings and just for God to bless them. If it's God's will to bless them, bless them. If it's not in God's will to bless them, there's not a lot I can do. Salvation and spiritual growth. This is a prayer every church has. You've seen, we baptise people that weren't baptised in the front garden because we believe in making it a public spectacle. So anyone walking past will see that we're baptised. We baptised people before in the Black Sea as well, because we want people to know that this is a public declaration. It shouldn't be done in private. And health. Again, I've explained some of the situations. We need a lot of prayer for health because we're in and out of different situations. I said it's an agricultural place. There's lots of animals, lots of filth, lots of mud and everything lying about, and there's lots of diseases. So we always pray for health, and we pray that over every person in that village as well, and every house in that village. So please pray for these things.
As we said before, thank you so much for having us. We can't believe we're here. I can't believe I managed through without crying. But also, thank you so much for your support in every way. Your prayers, your financial support, allowing the people to come out. And we hope that it's just the beginning of you sending more people out to actually see the first hand. It's a safe place. We don't let you out the village. Don't we not? We don't let you out of the village. We have people, somebody said to us, like with Americans coming, oh, they have to stay in a hotel. I said, well, they're not coming to work. So sorry, you stay in the village, because what's the point of seeing all that poverty and all that stuff and then going into the city, which when you look at it, there's all these shopping malls. It's like any other European city all around the place. The shops are empty most of the time, but they're all sitting around drinking coffee. It's not real, not for what we have in Poiana. So we do say, we stay in the village do the work, and then we do, as Alex says, have a day off. So, it's all right. We can go to the beach or something. But thank you anyway. Okay.